Every so often, I will stumble across an anime series that has the power to transform me from, a weird but relatively sane person into just a complete nightmare, obsessed train wreck of a human being. Past examples of this include Full Metal Alchemist and Madoka Magica. And as anyone who has come within 1,000 feet of me in the last year can tell you, my current obsession is Attack on Titan. I am just over the moon for this series. I love the characters, I love the story, I love the struggle and the suffering and all of the craziness that goes along with it. So, of course, as a cosplayer, I was super pumped to cosplay from this series. But it ended up being quite a bit harder than I anticipated. I decided to make my own costume largely because I was unsure about purchasing a harness because I didn't know if it would fit right. I couldn't really tell the quality based on the pictures online. So, like I said, I made it myself. However, it was pretty tough. I think, I thought it would maybe take me about a month or so to make, but the whole costume ended up taking quite a few months. So I thought that I would just show you, what I did. Not really the step-by-step, but just to kind of give you an idea in case you're making your own costume. Hopefully this will troubleshoot it for you and help you kind of avoid the mistakes that I made in the first place. I've worn my costume quite a few times at this point, and I think I've got it to a point where it's not going to fall off. I don't really have to shift or adjust anything anymore. Everything really stays put where it should. So I will show you the main pieces, which are the top piece of the harness, the leg belts, and then kind of how everything sits together, and then also some tips of what you can do to make sure everything stays in place. So to get started, let's just go ahead and take a look at all of the individual pieces of the costume. This piece here is just the top portion of the harness. These gray pieces are just pieces of craft foam which are covered in gray vinyl from Joann. And then these belts are also vinyl covered in just a layer of duck cloth to give it some volume. And then these little guys down here, same thing, craft foam covered in vinyl. However, it's worth noting for later, so this makes more sense. There is a slit cut in the back of it here so that you can go ahead and slide the belt through it, which will attach the top portion to your pants. And then these buckles here are actually from a local store in Chicago, but most of the other buckles on the costume are from Tandy Leather. And so these are the boots. They were originally from GoJane.com. Just some regular thigh-high boots. However, as you can see, I cut off the back portion to kind of give this flap in the front, and also shorten them a bit because I'm a little bit short. And then these are the pants. They're just a pair of skinny wash jeans from Aeropostale, which I made a couple of small alterations to. First, I changed out all of the belt loops to be the same brown vinyl as the belts. This is because in the artwork you cannot see any sort of belt loops, of course. So, I wanted to make them brown so they would blend in a little better. And then, obviously, these little guys should not be there, but they are velcro, which will eventually attach to the belts, which I found are, really, really helpful for keeping everything in place. I have some that run down the front, and then some that run down the middle seam. And next we have the leg pieces. So these guys are just made out of some thin plastic and craft foam, which I painted. Along the back, gosh, everything is tangled spider mess. So what I did here was just use some small pieces of elastic here so that the belts pretty much stay in place, but they aren't, stuck down. So you have a little bit of wiggle room if things shift around or you need to bend. Here you can see the opposite end of the Velcro, which will go onto the pants here and stick like that. And then on this side here, you can see I used some super tiny eyelets, which I painted to be the same color, just to prevent cracking in the vinyl. As you can see, I've got a little bit of a crack here from wearing them the first time before I inserted the eyelets. So highly recommend that.
For the jacket, it was pretty straightforward because I used this pattern here from Kwiksew. It's kind of a pricey pattern for a jacket, but it was really, really great. As you can see, you know, it really doesn't require a whole lot of alterations. All I had to do was alter the lapels and, you know, heighten the collar a little bit, but otherwise it made this part pretty easy. The patches I purchased on Etsy from Seraphidia, I totally apologize if I butchered your name, but yeah, that's about it. This piece here I like to call the butt wrap because it really is just a butt wrap, has no other purpose, but this is a stretch suede. I like the stretch because it's really meant to kind of hug your curves, your butt, and so any kind of stretch material will be great for this. One thing to note is that I did cut little slits along the top here. This is the part the belt runs through. The reason I did that is so when you're wearing it, you can have your belt loops actually go, you have a hole. So the belt can run, you know, under the belt loops, but over the belt, the butt wrap. So that, number one, keeps the butt wrap in place, and number two, lets the belt kind of pass over and through that way. So that's worked great. And I think that's about it. So now we can go ahead and be awkward and try it all on.
So first thing I'm going to do is put on the butt skirt. It's sewn shut, so I just shimmy it on. And then I want to be sure to line up the holes in the butt skirt with the butt loops. Then next we're going to do the leg pieces. Be sure to mark which one is right and which one is left. It's going to help a lot in getting them on. So put it on like this. Find the place where it makes a V above your knee. And that will help in figuring out how everything goes together. I've worn this costume like 5 times and I still don't know how to put it on right. Okay, got that part done. Next we're going to work on doing these horizontal thigh belts here. Line up the velcro pieces. Okay, now this is where it gets a little bit complicated. I decided not to make the entire harness as it's shown in the artwork, where it goes up and around the butt. Instead, I added some suspender belts, suspender clips on the end, and I just go ahead and I added, as you can see, an additional belt loop here. So I just go ahead and attach the suspender belt or clip to that. And the reason I do that is just to give me a little more mobility. And then up front here, I've just got some clips on the belt, which I just attached to the pockets. And I use 2 of them to make sure that if one comes out, the other one will still be stable, hopefully. Okay, and then I'm gonna do the other one real quick. I'll go ahead and do the boots now. Wrong boot. I'm an idiot. Okay. One boot's on.
One thing to note, if you end up buying these boots from Go Jane, the zipper only goes up to slightly above the ankle, which is kind of annoying. So especially if you have, you know, bigger calves, then it might be something to modify if you need to. Okay, and the next piece is the top harness. For the top portion, you just kind of put it on like a backpack. Take the top part, get through like that, and then you're ready for the main belt, which will connect everything. Now you're going to want to loop everything onto this main belt here. So be very careful not to miss any steps, as I do all the time. So first I'm going to put it through the first belt loop, and then I'm going to put it through this guy here. All I did was take a fabric and make a loop so that the fabric will go right over the belt. And then next I have the side. Like I said before, under the belt loops, but over the butt skirt. And then you've got these black guys here. And like I said, you know, this is why you've got the slit in the back here. So you can just go ahead and wiggle the belts through that piece. I swear I like sweat putting on this costume. Go around back. Shimmy, shimmy, shimmy. As you can see, everything is attached. Finally, if you're feeling fancy, and that's about it. Not too bad once you've got everything together. Just takes a little practice. Like I said, I think the biggest tips here are the Velcro on the legs to keep the belts where you want them. Like you can see, you can bend quite a bit and they're not going anywhere. Please let me know if you have any questions. I'm happy to help you guys out, and thanks for watching.